I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily pick 3 cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play pick 3 cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money day.
Yeah. Welcome. Happy Monday. What's up? Welcome to Ride Along Live for today, Monday. Love it Monday. Best day of the week. How you guys doing? Kia, how you doing? Let me see who first up on the ride today. First up on the ride, Shirley Ann Lorraine. Good evening to you, Shirley Ann Lorraine. Big up yourself. Thank you, guys. First, I must apologize, guys, because I'm a little bit late. And you know how I don't like to be late, right? I don't like to be late. So if ever I'm late, it is for a reason, right? I'll explain to you the reason shortly. So I don't like to be late because I know that you guys take a lot of time in getting ready for the program, right? Sitting there. When you see 5 minutes after 6 come and people start to message me, where you at? I know how you feel. I know, I understand. But I'll explain. I'll explain. So everybody share the program right now. We got a afternoon Dilian. Lacey J. Welcome from jail. I know you oftentimes get locked up in Meta jail. Let me share the program on my page, guys. Let me share the program a few times on my page. Because I want this particular program to go far and wide. I want this program to go far and wide. Everybody. The folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, big up yourself. The folks in Grenada. The folks in Canada, the US, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. Where else? Antigua, Ghana. Other parts of Africa. Nigeria. Everywhere. Where am I missing, guys? Puerto Rico. Por todos mis amigos y mis amigas que habla español. Buenos tardes. Greetings from London. Thank you so much, London. Yeah, guys. So I'm saying that let me share this on Rise. Hi, Runa. And we also live on Riders Radio. Riders Radio. Yes. So you can listen to this program live on Riders Radio as well. RidersRadio.com. For those of you in your cars, you're driving right now, you could turn on to Riders Radio, and we're live here. I share. Paula, thank you so much. Everybody share. Everybody share. Giving all your time to share. Showmin Bihari, pick up yourself. Thank you so much. Wendy Charles, we appreciate you. All right, guys. So here's why I want this program to go far and wide. Because after I saw the final outcome of this story this week, I realized, and I was not involved, I didn't know about it, but I feel really down to the depth of my heart that I failed this young lady. Now, I didn't know the story, but I feel I just have a personal guilt inside of me. Like, I feel like I failed this young lady. I felt like I failed this child. Another child died, guys. And it wasn't because the death of that child could not have been prevented. In fact, with help, with some assistance, with some financial assistance, people actually caring. And this is the thing that we preach most here on Ride Along. Right? It just, if more people actually cared, then this child would have been alive. Today, I'm talking about this child that you're seeing on screen right now. A few days ago, the mom took to social media. Nadine, she took to social media. And this is in summary what she said. This was on the 14th, right? So keep in mind that this mother has been going through this back and forth in the hospital with her son from since his name is Raiden, from since June. So from since June back and forth. The mother posted on January 14th this picture and said, I'm not posting this for fames because these are not the kind of pictures I would like to post with my child. But in case you're wondering, my child is still suffering. This child was still suffering. This morning, she said, I've seen his eyes and he's getting yellow. Everybody's watching my child fighting for his life and the pain that he's going through morning, noon, and night. Note, my child, he hasn't been sleeping, he's not eating, nothing of that sort. Her last post that she said is about where everybody was talking about that I mentioned, I didn't mention the nurses and the doctor. She said that she simply said she didn't know what's going on with her child. She said, someday I can't even face the child. And all she could do is cry. Her son, Raiden, at the point in time, she said, was just merely skin and bones with a belly that is growing every day. So this is very, 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 very sad, guys. And that's why I said that I'm feeling that I fail this child. Because with a little bit of love and support, this child could have been alive today. Let's get a summary as to what happened in here. Now, we did announce that the mother, Nadine, will be on the program today. We had a little bit of a problem connecting with her right before the program started, but we're going to continue to try to make that connection throughout the program so she could come on here and talk. Now, keep in mind that she is going through a lot. She had radio interviews this morning, and every time she shares her story, she's reliving those horrible moments, right? So if it means that she cannot speak right at this moment, which if she feel it, if she wants to, she'll come on and she'll talk. But even if she don't, I hope you guys understand what this mother is going through. So what we're going to have right now is an activist and friend from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. She understands the integral nature of this situation. Her name is Adriana King, a colleague there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, let me say I wish I were here under better circumstances, first of all. But nonetheless, we have life, and as long as we have life, we have possibilities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I feel And I'm not personally responsible. I have nothing to do with it. But why I feel guilty? Like I didn't do enough. Like we didn't do enough.
I think most people feel guilt because it's a child. And we generally feel for children, especially when they're suffering. Nobody wants to see a child. Well, most people do not wish to see a child suffering, whether it be your biological child or it be a child on the street you meet somewhere, offering, well, begging for assistance. Nobody wants to see a child suffering. And the fact that this child died makes it even worse for all of us who have looked on. And that's really what we've done. Most of us have simply looked on, and we came into the picture, so to speak, at the very last. And there were efforts here at the end. People started GoFundMe. I saw DJs coming together to have a fete to give funds to the mom. Vakisha John, the youth, the head of the youth for the New Democratic Party, reached out to me to say that they were having a bake sale and proceeds were going to go towards this child's mom. So people started mobilizing. And I said to one friend that it was really good to see Vincentians come together. They did not wait for a minister of government or somebody to say, okay, we're going to do this. But Vincentians, the ordinary people on the street, started pooling resources together, started saying, okay, I can do this, you could do that. Why don't we do this together? Right. And unfortunately, all of those efforts came too late for this young man to be saved.
Yeah.
But I am hoping that a lesson has been learned here by all, that we really could get together as a community. And when I say community, I mean St. Vincent and Grenadines, because for far too long, we have been separated. And I wish for us to take from all of this, that we could come together and get things done in this country.
Yes. All right, guys. So I said that this child was checked into this hospital from since June. He'd been back and forth. And what was alarming to me when I understood the whole story is what the child died from is not what he initially went in for. And that is crazy. Tell us what you know, what's your knowledge on this particular story?
Well, let me first of all say that I have been back and forth out of the hospital last week with my own daughter. So I've been getting bits and pieces here and there. And from what I gathered, listening to the mom and her interview and reading a few of her Facebook posts, the child was hospitalized last year for a month. And during that time, he was diagnosed as a sickler. And so he was given what they thought would have been the needed medical intervention. Unfortunately, one of the things that happened during this time is that he was unable to walk, but she felt hopeful that he would regain the ability to walk. So he was there for a month, and then he was released, went back in, and I think this is where he spent the last 2 months, and here we have him there. Now, it seems to me, from what she has explained, there wasn't a solid diagnosis from the hospital. They were more or less trying to figure out what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that bothers me most about all of this when we look at the whole idea of diagnosis is that our Prime Minister came out in an interview and said that basically, you cannot leave St. Vincent and Grenadines to go to somewhere else for medical treatment without a diagnosis being made here.
Listen, that upset me. I've heard. That is the craziest thing I've heard. So you're saying the fact that you don't, or the medical fraternity cannot find a diagnosis, that itself is a diagnosis of its own. The fact that they cannot find
and warrants a step up.
It needs a step up. The fact that no hospital in the country or no physician could diagnose this child is more of a need to get him out of the country so another physician could diagnose him.
At least try to.
Why would they play with his child? Why would they play with the child's life like that? You can't diagnose him, so you're just gonna leave him there and allow him to just die. I mean, in essence,
But that's what happened. That's what happened. And I had an experience back in 2006, I think it was, where I had to go to Jamaica for medical diagnosis because what was happening to me, the doctors here weren't able to pinpoint it. So I had to go to Jamaica to do an MRI so that they could figure out what was happening. So I know for a fact that somebody does not need a diagnosis to leave St. Vincent and the Grenadines for medical attention. You simply need a referral from a doctor to say X, Y, and Z is the case. We'd like to find out whatever. And you go. That's it. Yeah. But many Vincentians, sadly, would hear him say this and would take it as the gospel truth. And just go with it that, because they didn't get a diagnosis, the child couldn't have been flown out. So what do you want the prime minister to do? What do you want the government to do? What do you want the doctors to do? He could have been flown out. And I would harp on this issue because the prime minister likes to harp on it. Every sitting of parliament, he talks about, did they try to bust my head? Now, when he received that scrape on his head, he was flown out immediately to Barbados. A scrape on his head. Yes. He was flown out immediately. He did not spend a night at Milton Keyton Hospital. When his own son, Storm, had an accident, Storm was flown out immediately also. And I'm harping on this simply because you have these things happening to you. Minister Francis was flown out immediately after collapsing. Here is a young child at the hospital, having been there for a month already. He goes back. Fly him out. Fly him out. Everybody does not have the means to get an air ambulance, but that's why we pay taxes. We pay taxes so that those who are not as fortunate as some financially could receive assistance. Yes. That's why we pay taxes.
Yes. I have a clip from the Prime Minister and what he said, right? But what the disgusting part of this whole situation to me is that exactly what you just said. Whenever a minister of government or a minister of government child or a minister or someone in position fall ill, they don't go to that hospital.
No. And let me just stop you there a minute there, Junior. You might not know this, but a few years ago, the child of one of our ministers became sick. He is sick. It was a very it was a legit reason to do what they did. Okay.
Right.
And I have no qualms with them doing what they did for their child, because as a parent, you do whatever it is in your means to save your child.
Yes.
And so in this situation, the airport had to open.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That was closed in the night, had to open to fly out this child. Again,
for that reason,
nothing is wrong with a parent using their means to ensure that their child gets the best treatment. But I'm just showing here the disparity in which those who are poor, the disparity between those who are poor and those who have means. And those who are poor, they seem to have no one on their side.
True. I want to play back the clip of the Prime Minister and his statement. Now, it contradicts what the young lady Nadine said, all right? But I'll take his piece first, and then I'll share with you the contradiction. Again, we're talking about this event, this situation that happened there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where this young child died simply because people didn't step up. And his mother didn't have big connections. Right? This is Dr. Ralph Gonzalez's response to the situation that happened. Check it out.
There's a lot of harsh things have been said which are untrue. The medical services in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, including the World Pediatric Project, which is seized of this child, seeking to see if they can find out what is really wrong. They're doing a series of tests including sending tests overseas. Haven't been able to find out. It's a painful thing. 3 weeks ago, the cabinet secretary, Mrs. Barnwell Scott, had made arrangements for the child to be flown out to Trinidad by air ambulance. But they wouldn't be accepted in the hospital over there because they didn't have a clear diagnosis.
This is the part that I don't understand. That makes no sense, Mr. Prime Minister. In all due respect, that don't make sense.
Rubbish.
That don't make no kind of sense.
Rubbish.
Secondly, the mother said in an interview earlier this morning that she was the one who made calls to Trinidad. She made several attempts to connect, or 2 attempts to be exact, to meet with the Prime Minister. She didn't get a chance to meet with the Prime Minister. And
she was She was denied the opportunity.
And everyone had this nonchalant kind of, thing about the whole situation. She even said that a doctor at the said hospital told her that her son was going to die. I want to continue to play a little bit more of Dr. Ralph Gonsalves' interview. Check this out.
And they're doing the test. It's a troubling medical situation. I understand the mother had come to see me, but I wasn't there or wasn't available, and nobody had told me. But I've assisted him with my permanent secretary, Angie Jackson, and with the cabinet secretary. So even though you don't see me, you notice I could talk to you about the child's welfare. And it's painful. We are willing at any time to send the child anywhere in the Caribbean where they would accept the child in respect of with the diagnosis. Down to today, I talked to the cabinet secretary. She briefed not only me, but briefed the cabinet. I believe now that you raise the thing, I should ask them to, between the cabinet secretary and the Ministry of Health, the chief medical officer, should probably issue a statement as to the efforts which are being made in the budget.
Yeah, it's hard to listen to this. It really is. It really is. It really is. It really is.
It's difficult. It's difficult. And if we're feeling so emotional about it, and we should, think about how the family, the mother, is feeling right now. The mother is going through this ultimate reality and thinking to herself, if she just had political connection, if she just
knew somebody, had a fairy godfather somewhere.
Yes.
And the thing is, Junior, and I want to say this plainly here. Now, she has been beating up herself a lot. And I see people saying, oh, if it had been me and been my child, I would have do this and I would have do that. And if it's this and if it's that. I want to say to Nadine plainly that I think she did all that she could as a mother to save her child. I don't think at any point she failed to do what was in her means, what was in her power, what was in her mind. And for people to say, if it were, it is unfair to her, because I'm a far different personality than Nadine, and people who know me know this. So, Junior, I could say, for instance, if I walk into a room and, like, for instance, I'm cashing my groceries, right? And I get up to the belt and the belt has whatever on it, I'm going to ask them to wipe it off. Most people don't do that. But a situation happens and then you hear, well, I would have tell them to wipe it off too. But no, you won't have. You won't have told them to wipe it off. You would have just cashed your groceries and gone home. Don't beat upon her, because she did what she could for her child. She did it. And it is not an easy thing, Junior, to stay at that hospital. Like I said, my own daughter was there last week, and that was Thursday, Friday night, 2 nights. And you come out with backache, You come out with swollen legs, you come out hungry, and you come out tired.
Yes.
And she stayed there for 2 months by herself. This was a physical thing for her, a mental thing for her, a spiritual thing for her. All the while, still trying to keep up a strong front so that she doesn't scare her child.
Yes.
And so anybody who wants to stand and say, oh, I would have done this. Oh, okay, maybe you would have, I don't know. But you're not her. And you don't have her experiences. Your life is not hers. You don't know how she was brought up. You don't know how she sees herself. You don't know her.
Right.
She did what was in her means. And I want people to stop beating up on her.
Yeah, true. Guys, again, let me give you a quick summary of what we're speaking about here. This mother took to social media and very, very emotionally spoke about basically the death of her son. And she spoke about it. I don't want to play back that because I think that was really emotional. I don't even want to bring you guys through that. But in summary, she's saying that all of these things happen in this timing. And if it was by the will of certain people, or if there was by the connection of certain people, her son could have been alive today. His death, as she's saying, could have been prevented. But because of a lack of will, a lack of the proper connection, her young son is gone. Now, she had agreed to come on the program here today. And I understand her trauma. I understand what she's going through. So if she doesn't come on between now and the end of the program, I hope you guys understand she already had an interview earlier this morning. And although she agreed, she's going through a lot. She's relieving it every single time she speaks about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to ensure that things like that don't happen again. Because any one of us could have a family member that succumbed to something like that if we don't speak out strongly about it and see how we could prevent or avoid something from that from happening. Adriana, this particular hospital, I'm privy to it because I had a couple of years ago, I had someone on the program and they spoke about a child or a family member who died in that particular hospital. Mm-hmm. Does that hospital have a reputation?
Let me adjust myself here. Does that hospital have a reputation? Well, we have a thing here in St. Vincent where we say there's a reason why the hospital and the cemetery is in the same yard.
Wow.
No. Short answer, yes. People would always say that once you go in, there's no guarantee that you're coming out. That's a general thing that Vincentians have when it comes to the Milton K2 Memorial Hospital. And I want to say it's not always the fault of the physicians. Sometimes it is. Sometimes they simply don't care. You go there and you meet the most snobbish nurses or doctors. And at times, the majority of times, it's because the facility itself is failing patients and practitioners, in the sense that you going and there's no medication. I know of people who have died because their family had to send to Barbados or Trinidad to get medicine, and the medicine came too late for them. There are people who go in there with simple things, and the next thing you know, they're dying of sepsis. Then there, for instance, a few years ago, we had an incident on Union Island where 2 teenagers and an elderly fellow were burnt. Now, the thing is, let's go back to this whole idea of flying out people, right?
Right.
We do not have a burn unit at the Milton K2 Memorial Hospital. We don't have that. We don't have a unit dedicated to burns. So if somebody comes in severely burned and you have no means of helping them, what should you do? In my opinion, you do exactly what you do when the prime minister gets a scrape on his head. You fly
Yeah.
them out immediately.
Immediately.
When CJ, my past student, was run over by the police vehicle, they tried to get the prime minister's assistance in getting him out of the country. That was a no-no. And he too was left there to die. He also should have been flown out immediately.
Yes. Yes.
We had a young lady dying of appendicitis. We had children who died of dengue. And the things that people are dying of when they go to the Milton K2 Memorial Hospital, it really puts into perspective how poorly developed St. Vincent and Grenadines is. Yet their Vincentians would argue that we're performing better than others in the Caribbean region. We have the best healthcare. We have the best education system. We have the best roads. And yet, look at our healthcare system. Just look at it. We don't have an MRI machine to brag about. Basic things.
Someone sent me a voice note about earlier today. If I could play it, let me see if I could play it back.
Good afternoon, Riley. Yeah. My name is Anthony. I'm originally from Grenada, living here in St. Vincent. Right? And I see you publish a story with the lady with the young boy with the stomach growing, and he died. We had a next similar case with a
All right, let me get that back up there. Okay.
I would say a young man. He's my age, in his 30s. He died this morning or last night in that same hospital with a similar stomach case where they had us to go in, and they went in and they cut him open about 3 to 4 times to do operation on his stomach and his intestine. He ended up dying from all the surgery and stuff yesterday morning or last night. I don't have full details of the everything, but that something is going on in the hospital, man. I'm a Grenadian. I don't even want to go in the hospital if anything happened to me. Trust me.
So people are actually scared of
Yes.
what's happening. And to even-
Vincentians are literally afraid to go to that hospital. And election year after election year, we're being promised a new fancy hospital. And it is every election promise. I'm not even joking. It is in every election. The campaign trail, you would hear them bragging, the ULP, oh, we're going to build you this hospital. We're going to build this, we're going to build this, we're going to build that. And as soon as the term starts, the money shifts. So in this present term, we have a port and we have a parliament building. These are the things that are going to be built in St. Vincent and Grenadines while children die at the Milton K2 Memorial Hospital. And Vincentians are sitting back and allowing this, so that every Monday morning we're going to have this situation where we'll be bawling as a nation for a child or for a loved one. But we ourselves are not focusing on what needs our immediate attention. I don't understand how people could sit back and allow for the biggest project ever in the country and in the history of the Caribbean Development Bank to be a port in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not a hospital, a port.
Wow.
And it's not to say that St. Vincent and Grenadines has such a, we don't have a manufacturing industry. We do not. So who is going to benefit from this port? We don't know. But it's the biggest project in terms of money ever in this side. And that was one of the things that the Prime Minister and those from the bank bragged about. Then they brag about the Parliament building that is going to take millions of dollars. And we do not have medicines. We do not have, as a matter of fact, Junior, if I were to show you the gown that my daughter had on to go into the operating room, you would think that I'm some sort of careless mother. because this thing had one huge hole at the front of it. They do not even have those one-wear slippers that you could put on to go into surgery. They don't even have these things. But yet, Vincentians are concentrating on a parliament building and a port. So this is going to happen again, sadly. We're going to end up here again, grieving as a nation. We do it ever so often.
Right. Ashida is asking if health is doesn't matter, right? Why people keep electing the same government over and over? That's his 5th term in office.
That's a very good question. Now, there are talks of cheating happening at our polling stations, and those, well, we know for sure that there is treating, because we have people on camera who would brag that they got this amount of money from this person from the ULP's team and this amount from that person. So there's definitely treating, and we have tested cheating in the court system, and that didn't get us anywhere. Now, we had a case last elections where in this constituency of North Leeward, the government candidate came out on top by 1 vote. And that was after recount after recount. What was decided to be thrown out was thrown out, and he won, as they say, won by a single vote.
Wow.
Now, I want to register this here, that even though they're now the government, the ULP is government, they did not get the majority vote last elections. Vincentians actually voted, and the numbers showed that Vincentians voted for a new government. The majority of votes went to the New Democratic Party. What the ULP got, as is our system, was the majority of constituencies.
Yeah.
Yes. But they did not get, as what Ralph would call it, the flesh, the real flesh voters. He did not get that.
Right. Again, guys, if you just joining us, we want you guys to jump in on the conversation right here, because this is a very serious issue, the issue of health. Every one of us could be facing this tomorrow or in the next couple of minutes. We don't know. So it's important that there's an infrastructure, some sort of infrastructure, so we know whether you live in the Caribbean, or whether you live in Trinidad or Grenada or St. Vincent and the Grenadines, an infrastructure that you know that if you fall sick or your kid falls sick, that you could take them to the hospital. God forbid they fall sick, but if they do, you could take them to the hospital, and their fate wouldn't be that of what happened to young Raiden, where this mother, guys, this young mother, I'm going to show the picture again because I want the message to be sent. This young mother had to go through this and watch her young child deteriorate to this point. And the crazy thing about this whole situation, guys, you look at him right there. You look at him right there. These were not even, what he died from was not even the reason why he went there in the first place. He started to deteriorate until the mother said at one point in time he was skin and bones, right? Now, they could have flew him out. They could have get him on a plane to Trinidad or where have you. What the health system in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Prime Minister in essence has just said, is that they could not find a diagnosis, and the hospital would not receive him if there's no diagnosis. And I'm saying that don't make sense, because the fact that the health authorities there cannot find a diagnosis, that itself is a big diagnosis. We can't fix it. We don't know what it is. So that is more of a reason, a push to get this child out of there, because we can't figure the damn thing out. That was not done. But however, in far contrast, when something happened to who's who grandchild, or even, not saying that he shouldn't get the best medical care, everybody should get the same medical care, but when something happened to the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister's children or a minister in government, they get them on a plane quick and they fly out. But when something happened to someone who don't have the political connect, they have to waste away and die and deteriorate in a hospital. So it's like a death trap. And that's essentially what is happening here. More have to be done, and people need to see this. People need to understand this, and we need to speak out about this. So I'm happy when Adriana King and other people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are not just sitting by and let this thing go. Because if it happened in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's agitating to me, it hurts me as if it was happening right in my country or anywhere in the world. It is bad, and it is sad to see that child had to die because they didn't have the necessary political connect. And had it been that information was able to get across, I think we could have raised, let's say it need $100,000. Say it was a money thing. They need $100,000. I think we could have raised that. Because
it would have been raised.
Yeah, without all that political push, I mean, without that media push, I think they raised about 15,000 or something like that.
It would have been raised. It would have. People rarely came out.
Yeah, we could have done it.
So but something, Junior. The mother in a post said that she wishes for people to continue donating because she wants to create. Well, she wants the persons who created the GoFundMe and so forth to come together and create a fund that would assist mothers or children who end up in the situation that she and Raiden were in. And I think that is really a beautiful gesture from her. Amidst all that she's going through, she's still thinking of how she could help somebody else.
Yes, absolutely. Again, guys, we did promote and say that the mother will be joining us on the program today. We're still giving her time because she is going through a lot at this point in time. Understanding that whenever she speaks about this, it's like reliving the moment. All right. So she's watching, and if she's moved by it and she wants to input anything on it, she'll call. But understand she's going through a very emotional period at this point in time. Nevertheless, we open up the phone lines right now. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, people around the area, in the area, Grenada, Trinidad, Jamaica, everybody. I want you guys to give us a call right now and tell us what you think about this. Tell us what you think about this and how in hell or wherever could this thing happen? 2023, could this thing happen? And what could we do to prevent another child from dying so innocently? Give us a call, 718-701-5720. You could also call on WhatsApp or call directly, again, 718-701-5720. This is your opportunity to chime in live right now. Keep the phone lines open. Adriana, what's the people on the ground in St. Vincent and the Grenadines saying right now?
Like I said earlier, there are those who are throwing lashes at the mother and saying that she didn't do enough. She could have done this, she could have done that. And there are those who are blaming the opposition, members of the opposition, those who are putting the blame solidly on the government. And I'm one such, but I'm putting the blame solidly on the government.
Right.
And so there's, this back and forth that's happening right now. But I think the majority of Vincentians are really going through the trauma, not in the way the mother is going through it, of course, but because we, like I said earlier, when it comes to children, there's something in us, that awakens when they're suffering. And so the majority of Vincentians, I do believe, are feeling tortured by this whole experience.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm not on the ground, but I feel tortured by it. I just felt like, we all could have done more. I could have done more. My team could have done more. What if someone had brought this up to me a month ago?
Mm-hmm.
What if someone shared this with me 6 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. We could have raised that money. That child could have been alive right now. That child could have foreseen a future ahead of him, but we didn't. So,
and I think that is why some people are justifying their reaction towards the mother. But again, like I said earlier, we're all built differently. And I know that she, as a mother, did what she thought best for her child. Because the other thing is, Junior, there are those who are saying, oh, she should have spoken out earlier. But here's the thing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I am Adriana King. What happens when people speak out? They end up in jail in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah.
What happens when people speak up? They get victimized. And so I couldn't help but ask myself, was she afraid that something worse would have happened to her child if she had spoken out earlier? Because that's a very real thing here in this country. So even though people saying, oh, she just said something last year, the fact remains, had she said something last year, her child could have been in a far worse situation. Those nurses and doctors could have simply turned and left him and her there to suffer, as in, regardless of whether or not she's there, ignore her and ignore him. That's a very real thing in this country.
Wow.
So the fact that she did not speak up earlier, I am not beating up on her for that at all. Because I know what it is like when you speak up and then it's going to be seen as an anti-government something for you to say that your child is in a hospital and not receiving the best of care. And then people are going to come and start attacking you. And those nurses and doctors that are for the government will start ignoring you and ignoring the plight of your child. It could have become that nasty had she done that. It's a very real possibility. I'm not saying that it would have happened that way, but it has happened that way for many people before. And I'm certain that she was battling with all of these things in her mind. What if I do this and they start cussing me down, hey, or they start ignoring my child? Yeah. She did what she thought was best to save her child.
Wow. Man, let me tell you, I have a clip queued up because, again, the mother was on an interview earlier today. Before I play the clip, let me take a call.
You have a caller. To accept the call, press 1.
Caller, live. Where are you calling us from?
Hi, I'm calling from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Hi, St. Vincent. How you doing?
Just got word. Very well, thank you. Very well. Well, did I say very well? No. I'm mourning for the state that St. Vincent is in right now. I've been listening to you and Adriana and just feel embarrassed that we are sitting down in St. Vincent and allowing these things to happen. This is just the health sector. There are other atrocities that happen under this regime that came in 2001 as the most progressive. This was a party that was aligned with the progressive sector of politics in the region and internationally. But let me be a little bit more specific. When you listen to that, I'm on your radio program, sir, and I have a lot of respect for you. So I'll try to be as moderate with my words. When we listen to that man saying that because the child did not have a diagnosis, he could not be flown elsewhere. I mean, for heaven's sake, if you are ill and you go to a doctor and you're not happy with what the doctor is saying, you go to another one, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
It's called second opinion.
Yes.
So what the implication of that is that Vincentians are so dumb that they could take that as an explanation, as a justification for that child to die. Now, for some reason, I saw what they call a discharge report. And I don't know if this is true, so I am saying this with some caution. But on that report, the diagnosis is this child had sickle cell anemia.
Yes, I heard that the child did have sickle cell. Right, Adriana?
Yes.
We did hear that. Yeah, we did hear that the child had sickle cell, diagnosed with sickle cell.
Now, sickle cell anemia, isn't that a diagnosis in itself?
Right.
Eh?
But what happened?
Nobody should die of sickle cell anemia.
But what happened was that was the initial diagnosis, right? But what the child died from, what I've heard is that the child white blood cells dropped really low.
Yes.
And then well, of course, the white blood cells are the fighter cells, and if that is not present, then he open up himself to catch anything. Like he catch a bad cold, it turns into a pneumonia. So he didn't have those.
Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. I am a retired nurse.
Right.
All that you're talking about there is complications of sickle cell anemia. Why the heck this child wasn't that child on the plane somewhere? Even Grenada. I show you that get better care in Grenada. Eh?
Okay.
Why wasn't the child? This man got a scrape in his head, and he fly over to Barbados. His son got his ankle broken. He was on a plane. Somebody else had a child sick. They opened the airport at midnight. Why poor people have to suffer under this regime as it is? And those are the people voting this man. I gone.
Yeah, thank you, caller. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, so the fact, and I stand corrected, but what I heard from, what I took away from the interview was that the child was diagnosed with sickle cell, but what the child died from was not sickle cell. I mean, that was all the complications, of course, and then the white blood cells dropped so low, and then he just caught everything. Like he caught a whole bunch of other things combined.
And Junior, I'm glad I'm on here tonight for this. And I hope your audience could help me out here. But here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, it seems as though every time somebody goes to the hospital, there's always this call for blood, call for blood, call for blood. So I want to know if in other countries in the Caribbean, that's what happens. Or is there a continuous drive throughout the year so that the blood bank or blood banks, are kept at a level where people could actually get the assistance they need on time? Because we're always here sending out calls for blood. And I remember, I used to answer those calls until one time I went there and I was told that I was not supposed to be given blood. And then I was like, but this is a shock to me. But anyways, that's because of that medical condition I was telling you about earlier. So
right.
Anywho, I want to find out from others in the Caribbean if there's always this immediacy for blood drives. Because every time somebody's in the hospital, you would hear, oh, go to the hospital and give blood for John Joe. Go to the hospital and give blood for Joe Adams. Go to the hospital. And there's always this appeal. So I would love to hear if this is the state of, other islands.
Right. Now that's interesting. I'll be interested to find out that as well. I don't know how the process is in Grenada, if it's something ongoing or if it's at a level, and if it fall under that level, then of course they do a blood drive. I don't know the process, so that'd be interesting to find out. But it should be kept to a level where,
people could get
threshold that people could get. Yeah.
718-701-5720. Emergency.
Yeah. 718-701-5720, guys. Put your voice on it. Let us know what your thoughts on this here. This happened. The goal is to ensure that something like that never happen again. The fear is, guys, and the sad reality about it is, when you're not at that level, when you don't have those connections, sad to say that it may happen again. We might be back here again talking about a situation of some young child, young mother somewhere in the Caribbean that can't afford the finances, that their child will die from something that is completely preventable in terms of death. Preventable. Sad, but that's the reality, right? Because there is always two islands, like two islands, the rich that could afford to run out because of a boss head, and those that could die because of a boss head. Simple. Put your voice on it, 718-701-5720. We're interested in hear what you got to say. Again, what is puzzling to me is, why did they not get the child out quicker or urgently? as a matter of emergency. And why was this child left to die? 718-701-5720. We're taking your call right now. Again, as I said, if the mother doesn't call, it's because she is, I keep watching, she's not ready to speak right now because she is going through a very
Understandable.
emotional state, and it's completely understandable, totally understandable.
I just hope we're doing her justice.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Janice Frederick is saying, yes, it happens here too. Interesting. Very interesting. So, very interesting. All right, guys, call in 718-701-5720. Retrospectively, Adriana, if we're looking at it from this perspective, we're looking back. What do you think could have been done, right? Not only from a political perspective, but from a holistic perspective. What do you think could have been done holistically to that possibly would have saved this child's life?
Gina, the only thing I can think about at this time would be that they should have referred him to someone outside of St. Vincent and Grenadines. We know that we don't have what is needed here. Get him out. Get him out. That's all I could say. Because that is what would have happened had he been somebody else's child.
Right.
No help here, he would have been flown out.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold that thought right there. We got another caller on the line. Caller, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from New York.
New York, go right ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the situation is sad. But I don't think there is people to blame, because you have to trust your health service. You know, saying we have to trust the doctors, and we have to trust the people who take care of us. But the situation in St. Vincent right now is a sad situation, because people don't understand healthcare is a hard thing for healthcare, because it touched my heart when I heard the kid die, because the same day the kid died, my son was supposed to go to do a surgery.
Uh-huh.
And I'm telling you this, sometimes people think it's easy. My son ended up and he go into the hospital because I have a sister died from sickle cell too now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She used to go in the hospital tonight. In the morning she come out and you know what I'm saying? But we can't blame the doctor. Disease, sickness is sickness. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to put the trust in our healthcare system. Because I experienced it just this week only, because my son ended up going to the hospital and my brother. They couldn't do surgery in the hospital for my son unless I come there with my insurance.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I live in New York City. I do construction work. They didn't do surgery until I had to be in the hospital to show my insurance card for them to operate on my son. So sometimes people need to... The situation is similar right now, personally, when we look at it, you're taking this thing and make too much of politics, and it's not right.
Right.
I guess the question.
I guess where well, I don't know if it's politics, but where the disconnect is, right, caller, is that here we have a situation where the Prime Minister came out and said that the reason why this child could not have didn't get to fly out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines because they could not find a diagnosis. That's sort of, in summary, what the Prime Minister said in his statement. Right? Not quoting, but that's along the lines of what he said. My confusion about this, what he said was, well, how could that be? That should be the perfect reason to fly him out, because you can't figure it out. So I'm not trying to make it political. I'm trying to make it make sense. Because at the same time, you have, if the Prime Minister's son or child or whatever, or whoever family member, or the Prime Minister himself gets sick, he's not going to that hospital. He's not going there.
Yeah, but when he get his boss said, he went to the hospital.
Adriana, where he went when he got his boss said?
Fly him out.
He went to Barbados. He went to the hospital and he was immediately taken to Barbados.
Yeah, but he went to the hospital.
Can I ask the caller a question?
Not this thing.
Caller, could I ask you a question?
Okay, let Adriana have an input on it.
I just want to ask you one question. Now, let us knock on wood here. I'm not wishing bad on you nor your child. Now, if your child, heaven forbid, were to be burned over 65% of his body, where would you go?
Where would I go?
Yes, where would you take him?
We have to. Why would I take him to the hospital?
Could you name a hospital where you take him that he would get help?
Well, I could take him Kings County. I could take him anyone else that close by.
And you think they'll be able to help him?
Well, listen, I have to trust the health
Do you
system.
think they'll be able to help him? That's all I'm asking. Yes or no?
My son just do a surgery. He just came out of
You're
a
not
surgery.
answering the question. Do you think that they'll be able to help him? Yes or no?
Yeah, well, them is the doctor, so I think they will be able to help him.
Okay. We in St. Vincent and Grenadines, we don't have that luxury. If that happens to a child here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, we don't have somewhere to take them that we think would help them. Okay? That's a big difference. So you're making comparisons between the United States where you are and what's happening here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, but you're ignoring the truth of the matter here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. If a child goes into the peds, chances are a medication as simple as Brohex would not be available on the ward for that parent. That parent have to leave whatever hour in the night to go to the pharmacy outside to get the Brohex.
All right. Caller, go ahead. Ask
the
your question. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, as I told you before, my son just do a surgery. If I didn't reach at the hospital to present my documents, and my son is dead because I didn't reach at the hospital, what would happen? Whose fault it would have been fault? My fault?
Now, here what you're talking about documents, and I'm going back to the point I just made. We do not have a place to present documents. We do not have a place to go.
I'm talking about
We do
insurance.
not have a place to go to present those documents. You're not getting away from this. The fact is, you have a facility that you could go to, a facility that you trust. We do not have a facility here that we trust.
Okay. All right. We're not hearing
We do not.
we're not hearing if you're trying to shout over Adriana. Nobody's really hearing what's happening. But caller, make it last because we got to move on.
As I know, St. Vincent healthcare is free. So if my son did die in America, I lose my health.
Healthcare is not free. St. Vincent's healthcare is not free. It is not free. I don't know where you got that from, but it is not free.
Okay, but I think the problem is you're all taking it and make it into too much of politics.
Okay, let me just say this to you plainly.
I hear over the radio station. That somebody over the radio station, and I hear for myself, that somebody should go assassinate all the healthcare workers. You think that's right for them to say?
We ain't even say. I don't even want to utter. I don't even want to entertain the utterance of
that's
these
what I'm saying.
words.
You're taking it into a different
Anisi
level.
Junior, I'm calling not to cut you off here, right?
Caller, listen. I don't want to say those words. All right, we're not promoting that. We're not saying nothing like that.
That's what I'm saying, my brother.
Right. Okay.
But caller, Junior.
Let's wrap that up. Okay, caller. Thank you so much. We appreciate your call. I appreciate your input. Thank you so much. All right. Here is. Listen, I want to say something about the healthcare workers. Right. I believe the majority of healthcare workers who put on those uniforms and go to work every day, the majority of them have all goodwill. They are working hard and they are really trying to help, right? I firmly believe that. I don't believe I don't believe that it's the majority that are not being helpful or not doing their job to the extent where they're giving up their best and helping people. I don't think that that's the majority. I think that might be the minority. So I still want to give kudos and say thank you to the healthcare workers, because I know during COVID, they worked their ass off. They exposed themselves and their family during COVID. And I don't want to bring it across like healthcare workers are not doing their work. The majority are doing an impeccable job. Thank you.
And that's why I said at the beginning that I think the facilities at the Milton Cater Hospital, they're failing patients and practitioners.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a call. We got another call on the line. Caller live, where are you calling us from?
Yes, Reggie, I'm calling from UK. I'm a Vinci living in UK, yes?
Vinci in the UK. Go right ahead.
And yes, sir. This caller that called earlier from America, he talk a bunch of foolishness. You know, it make no sense to me. Because just the other day, I have a sister who gave birth in St. Vincent about a couple of years ago, and she sent me some videos and some photographs of the condition of the hospital. It looked horrible. Seen? And about 6 years ago, I was in St. Vincent. And look here, my son, I have 2 kids, but one of my, at the time I only had one son. I think he must have ate something, he had some kind of bad stomach. I started packing to leave because I personally will not bring my kids to St. Vincent to live because of the health conditions there. You understand? They don't have adequate hospital and one sort of foolishness are going.
Yeah.
You don't think I would like to bring my kids to St. Vincent and let them experience what I experienced, but I can't risk it.
Yeah.
Because I know what's going on. So this man I call from America, we they attack a sort of foolish. You know, it makes sense, man. I don't talk about people make the thing political. It's not the it's facts.
Right.
You understand?
Right. Thank you, caller.
They need to do something. They need to do better, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for your input. All right. Adriana, is it because for that fact, the simple fact that politicians don't have to use the same facilities as the regular general public, so they don't have any political will to fix the problem? Because I know prime ministers who they gain regular checkup, annual checkup, they come to America. So
yeah, you're right.
Like
because
you guys
our
take-
own prime minister,
That's the
his
best.
annual checkup is done in Cuba. He doesn't have his checkups here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. His checkups are done in Cuba, and you know, the regular Vincentian has to do it here, but he goes to Cuba. He does nothing here at this hospital, but we who are living here, we have to go there and we have to, you know, deal with whatever we meet.
Listen,
And sometimes what we meet isn't pretty.
Listen, there should be a legislation, and I'm begging politicians in the Caribbean, listen, write this legislation, please. It's might be funny, but hear me out. The leaders, the prime minister, and anyone official leaders, governor general, or everybody in that category, you cannot fly out to do any medical overseas. You have to do it here.
I stamp that.
Yes. Bam.
I stamp that.
Yes.
I stamp that.
You have to do it here.
I stamp that.
You can't fly out.
No,
Let's
because they will
get
come
the
to us
solution.
and say, you know, we have the best healthcare facilities in the Caribbean. You don't want to hear our prime minister brag about our hospitals. You don't want to hear him brag. But yet, he doesn't go there.
They should go there. They should go there.
I agree with you on that 100%. If it is so good, you go there. If you think the maternity thing is so good there, ensure that your grandchildren are born there at that hospital. Because his grandchildren aren't born at Milton Cater Hospital.
If he good for the goose, he good for the gander.
Thank you. But I saw Carla Bacchus post a story earlier that stated 5 children died at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital in 1 week. And there was no thorough investigation to figure out what was happening. There's a Rastafarian lady I know of whose child died and was taken from her. And she speaks about this all the time. She was on the radio talking about it.
She was on right along too. She was on right along too.
There you go. You know, they just took the baby and just put the baby on a pile of other dead bodies.
Yes.
And she had to go in there and look for her child.
Yes.
You know, how could you have a pile? A pile of dead children?
She was on the program.
A pile of dead children, and you're sending a mother who has just lost her child to go dig through a pile of bodies?
Yeah. That.
And this caller could call here now to say that things in St. Vincent are political. Well, here what? I always say to people, it's political, yes, because the word politics simply means anything that affects a populace. Anything that affects a population is politics, whether it's health, water systems, education, whatever it is. It affects your population, it is politics.
Yes, absolutely. So here's what I'm rubber stamping, guys. And I want the politician, if all this so big and all your bowl and all this so bright, stamp that now. Stamp that. All you can't come and do all the medical in America. Ban that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see which politician go put up their hand and say, you know what? That is a good idea. That is a fabulous idea. Probably then and only then they will start putting some political will in actually fixing the problem, fixing the healthcare problem. Because
But
if you
Junior,
take your sister, your brother, your family member and bring them in Milton Keaton Memorial Hospital, then what? Eyes dog then? Eyes what? Eyes what? Eyes what?
I don't even know.
Eyes what? Nah.
Because not even dogs you would pile up dead in a room. Not even dogs you would do that.
Sad situation. I want to see which politician in St. Vincent and the Grenadines would endorse that. And I know we have a lot of viewers and followers and probably a lot of political heads right now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines watching this platform. So I want to see.
They are listening. They are listening.
Yes, I want to see
You'll
which
probably
one
get mentioned in the next sitting of Parliament.
I am daring all you. I am double daring all you. Not only St. Vincent, but Grenada, Trinidad, Dominica, St. Lucia, all through the Caribbean. I am daring all you.
Yes.
Bring a legislation that say head of government and head of government family, or you can't go and do things like medical checkup.
Stay right with the people. Stay with the people.
Stay with the people. Go in the local hospital and do your local checkup. If it's good for the goose, good for the gander. Take that. Stay there and take that. Then all you go start fixing hospital. Good. MRI, about 1,000 of them because you don't want your cousin, your sister, your brother to give birth on the floor. Right?
There you go.
You don't
have
want
their babies fall out.
Yeah. And give them the big old hole in their clothes and all kind of bad treatment, bad food. You don't want that.
No.
So you don't want it for your population. Good
but
for
they might do what they do at the roads. Sometimes they simply fix the roads leading to their homes,
Highway. Listen, guys, I thank you, Adriana. Thank you so much for joining us, giving us an update. And it's great that we have that affiliation with you and the folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are brothers and sisters in this media fraternity. And I thank you that whenever I call, you're always there to give me an update on what's happening. I really appreciate you. Continue to be safe and continue to bring out the information to the people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the world.
Before I go, Junior, could I just say something that's a bit off topic here?
Yeah.
I just want to say to those who are listening, those of you who know my cousin Kenson King, he was charged with assaulting a prisoner, and I just want to say that he was found not guilty of those charges.
Yeah.
Just had to get that out there.
Absolutely. Kenson King, I will have you on next because that's my boy as well. He went to the mud. He went to the mud.
We are going through it all, Junior.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I will not beat up on this woman for not speaking at a pace where people thought she should have, because I am living proof of what happens when you speak out in this country.
Yes, absolutely. Adriana King, Kenson King, everyone that's watching from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Asbot, ANN, we're carried live on the ANN. So all the folks in the ANN, thank you for sharing and watching Ride Along Live on Stoppable Media and every other platform that this program is aired. We say thank you so much. Oh, we have one last call. Let me take one last call before we wrap up. One last call. Caller, you the final caller. Go right ahead. You're live.
Hi, good night.
Hey, good night.
Well, this young mother, I entered into her feelings and I know what it's like because I went through the same situation. Apparently, my son was diagnosed with cellulitis, and there were very good nurses along with bad ones as well. And before they even found out what was his diagnosis, I am telling you, they are not trained enough to deal with an autistic child. I went to hell and back. The amount of fear they put into my child, like literally, he did not even know how to. Hello?
Mm-hmm. Hello?
Yeah, he did not even know how to adapt back to his own siblings around the house. As in, like, when we tried holding on to him, he would pull away and start acting fearful. We took him to many doctors after, and he was fighting them just because he saw the uniform and he think that every time those people, like those new people, they would treat him just the same. And I understand what she went through because my son's condition is just like the Rasta lady who they came out and speak about her situation.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, my son, they did not even have medication for him. We had to go and buy medication by the pharmacy, and it was very expensive for one dose, about close to $300 for one dose. And he had to get like 3 doses per day. Like 3 things per day. And I used to always say, thank God for my friends that I had and my family members, because I don't know what I would do. And he ended up, it started swelling from his foot going upwards. They had to do surgery. They did not know what was happening. They was just giving him stuff to control the fever and so forth. And then this new doctor from Cuba did come. And then after he looked at the child, he was like, how y'all ain't giving the mother any information? And look at the child. Y'all need to do something, because when we asked them about the blood test that they run, few they couldn't find. They couldn't find back the results from the lab. They didn't get them. Some of them ain't go to on the phone and all them kind of thing.
Kola,
So
I need to get you.
doctor
I need to get you.
came
I need to get you on a whole ride along, because you know that's a whole story there that I wish that you could share the entirety of. But all the time we gotta wrap up. But I'll keep your contact, and if you want to come on and share that story, we'll definitely open the platform for you. All right?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you
so
But
much.
I did spoke to her and tried to get her onto that same doctor, but it wasn't possible.
Okay. All right, caller. We're gonna keep in touch and
Yes.
get your story out there. Appreciate you so much. Adriana King, thank you so much. All the folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thank you for having me, Junior.
No problem, anytime. Guys, don't forget that we are also live on Riders Radio. Yeah, Riders Radio. Check it out, guys. 24 hours programming. It's real vibe, right? So when you go to sleep tonight, when you lay down tonight, I want you to put your phone, go to ridersradio.com, ridersradio.com, and just catch the vibe. Catch the vibe. Riders Radio. Ridersradio.com. Real vibes. Also, I got to tell you about this. We are going to Dubai. Yes. We are going to Dubai. And we want to take you along, all right? We want to take you along to Dubai with us, guys. Let's fly to Dubai with us. Riders Long in Dubai. And that's happening, guys. It's October, right? But you have to confirm right now. Choose your position. Choose your poison. Let us go. $100 off right now. The reduced deposit is only $250. Guys, you just have to pay $250 for the reduced deposit. Ultimate Dubai experience with Riders, all right? Book now at riderstravel.com. That's riderstravel.com. I'll put it in right there, RIDRS travel.com. $250 hold your spot for the reduced deposit with $100 discount when you enter Ride Dubai VIP. Enter Ride Dubai VIP in the checkout, and you get $100 off. Get it right now, guys. Get it right now. Riderstravel.com. We are going to Dubai. Also, guys, we got to tell you about this. Ride Along is, we having another bingo. Another big money bingo, guys. Another big money bingo. $1,500 bingo. Get your tickets tonight at ridebuy.com. Tickets for the bingo is at ridebuy.com. Ridebuy.com. Guys, this program is brought to you with the kind compliments of the Grenada National Lotteries Authority. We'll be back.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily Pick 3 cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play Pick 3 cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sandy Manite.
Established in 1998, Ross Road and Funeral Services continues to assist you plan the ideal funeral or memorial service locally or internationally. Our reputation is built on providing personalized funeral services based on love and compassion. Call Ross Road and Funeral Services at 718-547-0640.
Ross Road and Funeral Services, where your loved one is our loved one.
Carpentry and Cleaning Service Inc., providing exceptional carpet and cleaning, floor installation, refinishing, home renovations, drywall, painting, plastering, doors and moldings, electrical and plumbing, and much more. We are a one-stop shop for all your professional needs. Give us a call today on 718-221-5572. That is 718-221-5572. Or you can call our cell on 917-939-3192. Check out our sales on all services. We're located at 218 Schenectady Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Phillips Carpentry and Cleaning Service Inc.
Guys, we thank you so much for watching, viewing, supporting, and thanks for the stars. We appreciate the stars, guys. Yeah, that little star right there. Press it, man. Give us some stars. If you like the program, if you love the program, and you want to keep supporting us, you can make a donation or you could give us stars. Real easy, guys. That help us to keep the lights on, keep everything going, keep investigating stories, and keep coming here every single day. So please give us some stars. Just like how you give us some love, give us some stars. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the stars.
Grenada is on the road to 50, but this year we celebrate 49. Under the patronage of the Consular Office of Grenada in New York, the Grenada Independence Anniversary Committee New York invites you to celebrate Grenada's 49th anniversary of independence, January 27th to February 4th.
Happy birthday, my dear Grenada.
Our theme this year is the journey to 50, reflecting on the past, planning the future. We shall be graced with the presence of Grenada's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export, Honorable Joseph Andel, Minister of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Honorable Andy Williams, and Member of Parliament of Her Majesty's Opposition, Honorable Delma Thomas. The calendar of events rolls off on Friday, January 27th with a cultural evening from 7 p.m. at Our Lady of Refuge Hall in Brooklyn. Then Saturday, January 28th is the Independence Youth Fest from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. again at Our Lady of Refuge Hall in Brooklyn. The ecumenical service is on Sunday, January 29th from 4 p.m. at St. Gabriel's Episcopal Church on Hawthorne Street. The 49th anniversary of Independence Gala, dinner, dance, and awards will come off on Saturday, February 4th from 9 p.m. at the Anthems in Queens. It's all about Grenada's 49th anniversary of independence. The journey to 50, reflecting on the past, planning the future.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Again, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sharing. On behalf of all of our team here at Ride Along Live, our senior executive producer, Lois JJ. Thank you so much. Also to our moderators, Kibbs, Deanne Fraser, and Gail Charles. You guys work extremely hard, and we love you. We love you. Everybody say, we love you. Yeah, moderators, Ride Along moderating team had the hardest work, Dread. Even when all you're sleeping, they're moderating. They don't stop. They never stop. Thanks again, guys. Don't forget, guys, we love the stars. Please give us stars. Please support this platform by giving us stars or making a donation. Advertise your business. This keeps us going. Right? Keeps the wheel spinning. Thanks again. Don't forget, guys, the Grenada Independence 49th Anniversary Gala Award Dinner and Dance, and that's going on the 4th of February in Brooklyn. Honorable Joseph Andel, Honorable Andy Williams, Honorable Delma Thomas will be there. It will be real vibes. You guys can afford to miss out on this one. Kiddos, don't forget, guys, lock in tonight. Check it out, ridersradio.com. Ridersradio.com. Check it out, guys. Turn it in and rip the knob off. Rip the knob off online right now. Ridersradio.com. And to my family and friends in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I promise you, I'm coming to visit all you soon. Soon time. All right? Soon time. I'll be there. Good night, guys.